Welcome to Alpha Recaps. Today we are going to explain a Turkish 2015 movie called Cute and Dangerous. Spoilers ahead. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. The film begins with someone telling a love story to a group of children who are attentively listening. Once they understand that the storyteller is telling them the story from the middle, the young ones ask him to continue the story, actually starting with. Then, the scene changes to a house in the middle of a vast farmland, where a middle-aged man named Mustafa is heating some water in a pot outside, while his wife, Nurten, is giving birth under the care of some midwives. After Mustafa is locked outside for disturbing everyone, Nurten gives birth to a lovely daughter. Another woman, Bora, is giving birth somewhere else, and her caretaker, Nekla, can be seen calling her husband Haki to let him know what is going on. When Nekla adds that Bora needs to be brought to the hospital since she has lost a lot of blood, it comes as a surprise. Haki suggests that she is only concerned with the infant. Sadly, Bora passes away following the child soon after. Haki shows up and discloses to that he is after Bora's property. He never loved her, ever. As well, the fact that Bora has transferred all her $200 million worth of property to her child, but it can only be obtained upon the child's marriage. Despite the loss of his wife, Haki urges Nekla should keep the child's death a secret. Later, he sends her to find a replacement child with the dead one. In the following scene, Nekla went to a gangster Hilmi. Some years ago he damaged her right eye. She offered him a job. After a little consideration, Hilmi accepts the offer. He takes a little boy Zaroka with him. After a while, when Mustafa and Nurten are working in the fields, Mustafa asks Nurten to keep their daughter under the shade of a nearby tree. Nurten go to do so and keeps the baby in a cradle under the tree. She then holds the baby's hand and we can see a bracelet that Mustafa made for her daughter. After she returned to fields, Hilmi and Zaroka come out of a car stopped nearby. Hilmi ordered Zaroka to go and bring the baby to him. While Zaroka is taking the baby away, Nurten sees him and chases them. Unfortunately, Hilmi and Zaroka enter the car with the baby and have a narrow escape before Nurten can catch them. In the next scene, Hilmi gives the baby to Nekla and receives a briefcase full of money. Nekla takes the baby to Haki and, before they leave the place, Haki instructs his men to kill Hilmi. He then shot dead in front of Zaroka, while the Zaroka is asked to run away. After a few years, we can see Nurten still believes that her daughter is still alive and will return one day. Zaroka can be seen watching Nurten and her suffering. He then makes a decision to be part of the family and assist them of their work. However, the daughter Zealous has grown up to become a lovely girl and has a close friend named Maldum. Zealous is so enthusiastic about a birthmark on her chest containing the letters Z and C that she makes a decision to put on a necklace depicting the letters. She also believes that someday a handsome boy will marry her and take her away. But Melton labels all of these as fantasies and always asks Zealous to live in the reality. In next scene, Melton enters Zealous's room and urges Zealous to get prepared for her engagement with Kamal. Turns out that Kamal is Malcolm's brother and Haki's friend's son. During this, Zaroka is being chased by a couple of henchmen and is running away in the direction of Zealous' residence. At the same time as all the people are enjoying the engagement party in the garden, Zaroka jumps over the residence's fence and cleverly enters the building. He schemes over many rooms and steals multiple objects. Right then, Zealous returns to a room after tripping over a guest and damaging her dress. Inside her room, she sees Zaroka and screams loudly. Afraid, Zaroka jumps from the window and lands on Kamal and his friends. He quickly steals Kamal's costly watch and runs away from there. In the meantime, Zealous comes out of her hiding place and approaches the window. She finds a shoe of Zaroka and is very happy to discover the letters Z and C written on it. She at once calls Maldum and shows her the shoe. At the same time as they're expressing their excitement, Haki visits Zealous and informs her that the one who just broke into their house isn't a visitor but a thief. In the next scene, Maldum and Zealous can be seen with a police officer Kenan, who brings them to the neighborhood where they consider the thief is from. Leaving Kenan, Melton and Zealous enter cafe and ask the people there if they recognize the shoe. Fantastically, Zaroka is also there in the cafe. However, he does not pay any attention to the girls. Whilst no one acknowledges the shoe, Maldum comes up with a plan of offering money in exchange for information, but this only results in a combat among the people and Malcolm and Zealous are forced to depart the cafe. Outside, the two girls get groped by a couple of guys who start threatening them for cash. Luckily, Zaroka arrives there and saves the girls, impressing Zealous. After spending the whole night thinking about Zaroka, the next day Zealous once more visits the same cafe. This time she's alone and tries her best to locate Zaroka but fails. As she leaves dejected, she notices Zaroka near a park and begins following him. Later, she arrives at a dangerous area, however does not stop following Zaroka. To her good fortune, she spots him getting into a room and walks towards it. Zara goes to the bathroom and at the same time Zealous enters his room and is amazed to discover ZC written on each object within the house. After taking a bath, Zaroka returns to his room. Seeing him naked, Zealous becomes afraid and exits the room in a hurry, leaving her cell phone and surprising Zaroka. In the next scene, Zaroka visits Mustafa and Nurten helps them with their work and spends the entire day with them at nighttime when he notices Nerton continues to be praying for her daughter to return home. Zarok feels responsible and wishes he should bring back her lost daughter. The following day Zealous breaks into Zarok's house, searches for her cell phone and finds it under the mattress. In the meantime Zara can be seen returning to his room. While he notices his front door damaged, he takes out a pocket knife and enters the room. Seeing Zealous peacefully sleeping on the sofa, he approaches her and inquires about what she's doing there. Zealous then shows him her birthmark and reveals that it's actually his name. Zarok laughs about it and asks her to go away. Within the meantime, two muscular henchmen arrive there searching out Zarok. Zarok notices them approaching his room and runs far from there with Zealous. Later Zealous and Zara can be seen enjoying their time together with Maldum accompanying her. One day when Zealous arrives home late, she receives slapped by Haki. She tries her best to explain herself, however Haki does not pay attention and asks her to remain in her room. In the next scene, Kamal's father Selim can be seen worried about Kamal and Zelos's relationship, and Haki also mentions that a person is circling round Zealous. Hearing this, Selim and Kamal approach Meltem and ask her if Zealous is seeing a person behind their back. At the beginning Melton denies having any information, however when Selim insists, she is forced to tell the whole thing about Zarok and even shows them his photograph. In the meantime, Necklace taken aback on listening to the name, and she takes a closer look at the picture and the place where it was taken. Following this, Kimmel and Nekla arrive at the area where she first met Hilmai. Surprisingly, Zarok also arrives there and immediately acknowledges Nekla. Nekla then informs Zarok that she's ready to offer him extra money, however he need to stay away from Zealous. Listening to Zealous's name from her, he's taken aback and gets to understand that she is the girl whom he stole from Mustafa and Nerton. While Kamal steps forward to threaten Zarok, he pushes him to a pool of soapy water. Enraged, Kimmel tries to assault Zarok, however Nekla stops him and suggests Zarok stay away from Zealous. Once they depart, Zarok returns to his house and becomes very glad to have found the girl he was desperately looking for. Later at night time, Zarok visits Zealous, getting into her room through the window and sleeps beside her. Zealous is surprised to look him, but nevertheless she requests him to take her away from the place. In the morning when Nikla visits Zealous's room, she discovers that Zealous has escaped from the window. Haki gets to know about it and walks away, however not before slapping Nekla hard for her carelessness. Later Haki tells Salim, who suggests they track Zealous's place with the assist of her cellular phone. However Zarok takes Zealous near Mustafa in Nerton's house. As Zara contemplates his decision, he makes a decision to rest near a large tree with Zealous. There he asks Zelos about her favorite wish, and the latter replies that she wants to get her back to her mother as she has missed her a lot since her birth. Hearing this, Zara gets up from his place and heads toward Mustafa's house. To his bad luck, when Zarok reaches a bit further, he notices Kamal and his guys taking away Zealous forcefully. Zarok attempts his best to save Zealous, however finally ends up getting captured through Kamal and his guys, who tie and lock him inside his car's trunk. Within the following scene, Kamal can be seen in a room with an unconscious Zealous trying to take advantage of her situation. Just then Haki and Nikla arrive there and he suggests Necklaces stay there to take care of Zealous. After that, Haki approaches Kamal and informs him that he and Zealous will get married tomorrow. The following morning, Zealous wakes up and attempts to get away from the place. She attempts to open the door, however it is firmly locked. Unluckily, the sound of the door wakes Nekla up and she starts approaching Zealous. This scares Zealous, however Nekla calms her down, claiming that she wants to assist. Nekla then reveals to Zealous that she is not the actual daughter of Haki. She tells her the whole thing about Haki's secret but suggests Zealous act dumb and cooperate with him. In the meantime, Kemal asks Selim about what he have to do with Zarok. Selim suggests he takes Zarok to the roof and throw him from there. Following his father's idea, Kamal's guys take Zarok to the roof. Kamal procedures Zarok and tells him that he is going to marry Zealous. He then gets a call from Selim and leaves the roof, however not before ordering his guys to kill Zarok. Within the next scene, Haki, Selim and Kemal prepare for the paper marriage, and after some time Nikla brings Zealous to the room at the roof of the adjacent building. Kemal's men are looking for a suitable time to throw Zarok off the roof. Unbeknownst to them, Zarok takes out a pocket knife and manages to cut the ropes tying his arms. Alternatively, Malcolm can be seen walking towards the building with a few of Zarok's pals. Zara constantly recalls Zealous' desire of being able to fly away from all the pain and jumps from the building. Fortuitously, he lands at the adjacent building, breaking the window of the precise floor wherein Zealous is about to sign the wedding agreement. In the meantime, Melton along with Zarok's buddies enters the room and starts destroying things, allowing Zealous to help Zarok stand on his feet and get out of the room. While they're walking out, Nekla urges Zarok to take Zealous to her mom. Following this, Zealous brings Zarok to the parking zone, keeps him inside his car, and prepares to drive away from there. While Kamal attempts to block their way, Zelos does not think twice and just runs over his car, injuring him in the process. On their way out, despite being injured badly, Zarok keeps on telling Zealous to drive towards the location where she got kidnapped recently. Later at night the duo arrives outside Mustafa and Nurten's house. Right here Zarok reveals to Zealous that she got kidnapped when she was a little baby and her mother has been waiting for her since then. Zealous is taken aback to listen this from Zarok and asks him how he knows all this. Zarok then tells her that he was the one who kidnapped her. After telling this Zarok falls subconscious in Zealous' arms, leaving her worried and confused. Zealous then cries out for help and hearing her screams Mustafa comes out of his house to help them. The following day Zarok wakes up and finds himself all bandaged and sleeping on a mattress. He looks round and smiles after seeing Zealous sleeping on the sofa. Slowly Zarok wakes up, gets out of the room and approaches Mustafa. Moments later Zealous also wakes up and is served breakfast by Nurten. In the meantime Nurten takes a closer look at Zealous and finds her to be extremely beautiful. Later, even as Nurten is under the huge tree tying a piece of cloth on her daughter's name, Zarok approaches her and apologizes for what he did to her. He then puts the small bracelet in Nurten's hands and tells her that her wait is eventually over. Nurten looks on the bracelet and reveals it to be the one that Mustafa made for their daughter. On the other hand, Zealous also takes a look at the pictures inside the room and notices a small baby wearing the bracelet. At this time she realizes that Nurten is her mom and comes out of the room to meet her. Nurten also finds out that Zealous is her long-lost daughter and runs toward her. In the end the mother-daughter duo reunite and Mustafa joins them rapidly. In the last scene it's revealed that Zarok is the one who's narrating the story to the kids the whole time. The film ends with Zarok and Zealous driving away on a new adventure. That's all for today. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, take care.